What's up, guys? Welcome back to Quintessential Reviews. You can just call me Quinn. And today I'm here to review Boruto, The Next Generation, Episode 3, entitled Metal League Goes Wild. So, first of all, I just want to say, I just want to apologize for the fan in the background. My room is extremely hot, so that's why that's on. So I apologize for that. And then second of all, welcome back to the Naruto community. Like, what's good, y'all? Like, it's been a hot minute. Like, it's been a minute since the Naruto community has since I've seen it. It's been a couple years since Naruto ended already, and we're finally back with the next generation. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little bit hyped. I am. Now, let me clarify right quick. At the beginning, when the Boruto series was first announced, I actually was not hyped for it at all. In fact, I wasn't even gonna watch it. Like, actually, I just now started watching it after it's already on its third episode. I just went back, watched all the episodes, and did a review on the third one. But after I watched them, like, they're really not bad at all. Like, they're pretty good. Like, they're pretty good. Okay, so that has got me hyped because now I'm invested in it. I think it's interesting. It's not trash, so I'm hyped for it because I thought this series was gonna be boring, uninteresting. I really didn't see a reason why I should watch it, but I just figured might as well give it a shot, and I'm glad I did because I actually really like it, and I'm really looking forward to see how they further this. What else they're gonna do? Is it gonna be as good as Naruto was? I highly doubt that. To be honest, I highly doubt it's gonna live up to Naruto. But if you just look at it as an independent series, it's not bad. Okay, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm more interested in the new Boruto series than I am Dragon Ball Super right now. Which I might get a lot of hate for saying that, but it's just the truth. There's mad inconsistencies going on in Dragon Ball Super right now. In fact, I dropped the series already. I'm just like I'm only gonna be watching the fights. Really, only like fights I think is gonna be good. Not no Super Saiyan Blue Goku versus 17. Not none of that. Okay, I'm talking about fights that's actually gonna be interesting and that makes sense, like Goku versus Jiren or something like that. Okay, I'm only gonna be watching that, which is why I'm not reviewing the series anymore. But anyway, this isn't about Dragon Ball Super right now. Let's just go ahead and get into the review of the latest episode of Boruto. So the first thing I want to talk about with this episode is the purple monster chakra thing that we see in the beginning of the episode. Now, this little purple monster thing seems to have been present throughout the last couple episodes. Wait, was he? Yeah, the last. I don't think it was there the first episode. I think it was there episode 2 though. I think it was there because he ended up possessing Dinky. But basically, I got a theory as to what it is. Actually not what it is, but my theory is that this purple chakra thing may be connected to Orochimaru in some way, shape, or form, which kind of helps the argument that people was making, like right after Naruto ended and when Kishimoto announced the Boruto, the making of Boruto, the next generation. People said that the main antagonist for the new series was gonna be Orochimaru, which as of right now it really isn't confirmed, but it's kind of hinting that way. It's being foreshadowed that Orochimaru may be responsible for this purple chakra monster, and I'm gonna get into that why. Don't worry, I have evidence to support what I'm talking about. Okay, like I got like literally like 3.5 pages of just straight notes of this. Not of just the purple guy, but of the episode period. But like I'm prepared. Okay, so let me get into why I think the purple monster chakra thingy is connected to Orochimaru. First off, the color of the chakra. The color of the chakra is purple. Okay. Now you're thinking, okay, so what? What does that mean? Well, if we go back to Naruto, the original series, when Sasuke and the various other people who was granted the curse mark, the chakra has always been displayed as being purple. Okay, just like the purple chakra monster, and also when the people like Sasuke and various other like the Ninja Four and Kimimaro, basically when they would use the curse mark and the chalk would be purple, it will also make them more hostile, more angry. It will take advantage of the darker side of the personality and make them act on that and basically possess them, make them do what they normally wouldn't do, and make them a lot more, like I said, hostile and a lot more angry. Okay. Another reason why this may be something that Orochimaru is involved with is also because the curse mark enhances the user's ability. And as we've seen in this episode, this it's not a curse mark, but this chakra that seemed to possess Metal Lee at the end when Metal Lee was caught in the shadow jutsu paralysis thing Shikadai did against Metal Lee. Metal Lee was actually shown to be using the gates. I'm probably the first gate. It looked like I don't think he was fully activate the first gate, but it looked like he was getting there. Like he was definitely using some of the gate's power. Now I don't know if I doubt he was aware of it, but it looked like that's what he was doing, and this could be the fact that well, I guess it's an assumption on my part because Metal Lee is shown to be a prodigy, basically. Like he's really good as a ninja. It's just his only problem is that when people pays attention to him, he gets nervous and turns garbage. But when he's not nervous, he's really good. So you could say, I guess you could assume that maybe because he's such a good ninja, that he maybe already knows how to open the first gate. Although that might be a stretch, but I think it's because this chakra was taking over his body and was enhancing his strength to give him that power. I think that's what happened. Although you could assume that because he's a prodigy, he could have already did that, but I think it was the chakra that gave him that push, that gave him that edge, and that allowed him to be able to use his power to that extent. Also, this chakra that we've seen, it seems to be targeting specific people. Like we saw with Denki. Denki was a depressed kind of child. He had very low self-esteem, and it's not that he's just like that naturally. Yes, he's kind of shy, kind of quiet, but he's not a naturally depressed person. His self-esteem isn't naturally low. It's because his father makes it that way. Like because his father's so dominant and wants him to be a certain way, and he's so strong, it kind of like pushes down on Denki's personality and gives him this low self-esteem and low confidence type of personality. And because of that, he's able to be controlled and manipulated very easily, as we've seen when he was possessed by the chakra, and it took advantage of that anger and that depression that Denki had in him, and basically brought that to light and took advantage of that. Like he was even willing to kill those 3 kids on the train by crashing them into each other, and he was probably going to kill himself too, because I mean, what was he going to do, jump off the train? Like that alone probably would have killed him, at the very least injured him very badly. Like there's no evidence that he actually had an escape route, and that both the trains was like going directly at each other and they was going to collide. He spoke of nothing. He spoke nothing of some type of escape route or anything. Like he was just gonna, I guess, kill himself with the 3 kids that was bullying him, which I guess you could say plays on the how depressed he was and how sad he was, which, to be honest, is pretty dark for a shonen. But hey, but yeah, and also the same with Metal Lee, how it played on this notion of how Metal Lee was kind of depressed, kind of sad, and even a little bit, you could probably say a little bit angry with himself because every time he gets nervous, he messes up, he fails. When I he and especially when it comes to things that he normally wouldn't fail at, like when I said Naruto. Oh my god, I'm gonna get into why I keep mistaking Naruto for Boruto. I'm gonna get into that later. But when Boruto through, well, not actually grown up Naruto, I'll get into it later. Okay, maybe at the end of the review. But Boruto through this, I think it's called Shadow Windmill Shuriken or something like that. But he threw a giant shuriken at Metal Lee, and Lee, he was completely prepared and confident that he was going to be able to stop the shuriken, because he even pointed out that it was very shaky and uneven, that so that it would be pretty easy to take out, and he was perfectly ready to do it. But once he found out that everyone was looking at him, staring at him, figuring, seeing what he was gonna do, he got nervous and he messed up, and we saw his foot got that was pretty funny too. His foot got caught in the middle of the shuriken, and he ended up hitting the I guess training pole that they were throwing the little kunais at. Which, by the way, I know this might be me just nitpicking at little things, and it may not be anything at all, but it showed in the episode, it showed his head hitting like the bullseye thing that they were throwing the shurikens at, and the wooden training thing still had the shuriken stuck in it, and Metal Lee, his head hit the freaking pole right where the shurikens was. So that should have KO'd him right there. He should have been done. But like I realized that it was a comedic thing. The way he bounced off the pole and all that. I know it was just a thing to be taken as a joke. Like I said, it's just probably me nitpicking. But I just found that a bit funny. But yeah, he was perfectly willing to take the thing out. But when he saw that people was watching, he got nervous and he messed up. So the chakra could have seen that, or a person controlling the chakra maybe. But it seems like the chakra has a mind of its own. I get into that a little bit later also. But the chakra could have taken advantage of that anger, that depression, that sadness that he had in him, that desire to not want to be weaker, to not want to be, not really weaker, but to not really, well, if you see, well, his nervousness could be seen as a sign of weakness, or at least in Metal Lee's eyes. So I guess you could say he does have a desire to be he does have a desire to get rid of that quote unquote weakness that he has, and that certain concept. Now, the reason why I say that this chakra could have a mind of its own instead of being controlled is because in the beginning of the episode, we not only see this chakra take the form of a face, but we see it have eyes. We even hear it start to laugh. So it could be its own entity. Now here's why I think that it could be either being controlled or even created by Orochimaru, or at the very least be connected to Orochimaru. Because in the second episode, we see the same chakra, except this time it's taken the form of a snake, and it bites Dinky. Very reminiscent. So if we go back to Naruto, when Orochimaru bit Sasuke on the neck, very reminiscent of that. So that could be foreshadowing then that Orochimaru is going to have something to, or is going to be revealed to have something to do with this purple chakra. Boom. So now I want to get in. First of all, I'm done. I'm done with that part now. Now I want to get into um, Metal Lee's character development and how the foundation of his character has basically been set in this episode, and also the foundation of Shikadai's character has also been set in this episode, which I'm gonna get into later. So, the foundation of Metal Lee's character in this episode was set to be or heavily implied that Metal Lee is going to be an even hard working character than even Rock Lee was. Now, I say that because Metal Lee, just like Rock Lee, is a perfectionist and is obsessed with getting stronger and this whole being very enthusiastic about his training and becoming, well, we haven't really seen Metal Lee show a desire to be the strongest taijutsu user in the world, but it seems like that's mainly what he focuses on, taijutsu, just like Rock Lee. So he places a high value on taijutsu and being very good at what he does, and just overall being a perfectionist, just like Rock Lee was. But here's the thing: unlike Rock Lee, Metal Lee has something that he has to overcome that Rock Lee didn't. He has to overcome this nervousness that he seems to have when people pay attention to him and look at him. Rock Lee never had to deal with that. The only thing Rock Lee really had to get over and to overcome was just his own training. Basically. That's it. But Metal Lee seems like he has to do that. Well, also he had to deal with the fact that people said he couldn't become a ninja because he could only use taijutsu and all that, which may or may not be the case for Metal Lee. And what I mean by that is, we don't really know if Metal Lee can use ninjutsu. Like in the case of Rock Lee, it was confirmed that he can only use taijutsu. That's all he had. But we don't know if Metal Lee can use ninjutsu or genjutsu. He might be able to, although if he could, you might say, well, why hasn't he used it then yet? So I guess you could assume that he can only use taijutsu just like Rock Lee. Which is another similarity between the two. But Metal Lee is gonna have to work harder in order to overcome this nervousness. Rock Lee never had to go through that. All he had to really overcome was people putting him down, saying that he couldn't do something because he could only use taijutsu, saying he couldn't become a ninja, and just proving them wrong, and just becoming strong and working as hard as he can. We haven't really seen Metal Lee struggling with people putting him down, saying that he couldn't do something that he can't, like saying that he can't become a ninja because he's only using taijutsu. We haven't really seen that concept come into play. It might come into play later on, but as of right now, we haven't seen that at all, actually. So right now, it seems like he just has to deal with working a lot harder and working hard at overcoming this nervousness. So it's implied. So there's an implication right there, and the foundation for Lee's character, Metal Lee. Jesus Christ, for Metal Lee's character, that he's gonna be working a lot harder in the terms of he has an obstacle to overcome that Rock Lee didn't. So there you go. By the way, I just want to comment on something that Shino said in this episode that I found weird and kind of funny also, was when basically it's right after when Boruto threw the shuriken, the giant shuriken at Metal Lee, and he got hurt because of it. Shino is basically scolding them and takes them to the principal's office. Or, I don't know where he took him to. He just took him, I guess maybe it was his office. I don't know. He took him somewhere and basically told them that, he basically says this. Isn't it quote. This isn't like I'm not quoting him. This is basically what he says. He says, "I've pulled pranks." He said, "I pulled my share of pranks when I was your age too. So don't think I don't know how it feels or something like that. Or I don't think I don't understand or something like that." But what's weird to me was the fact that like I've seen Naruto. I don't really remember Shino pulling any pranks. Like Shino for the most part was always serious. Um yeah, he was always serious, kind of to himself, kind of always the weird guy. Like I've never seen him pulling pranks on people. I don't really remember any of that, unless he's talking about way back before that, like some stuff that wasn't shown, like maybe when Shino was real little. But even then, like if we go back to I think it was Naruto the last when he showed the flashbacks of Naruto when he was real little, like before the Ninja Academy, before he met Iruka, all that. When they were just playing in the playground and stuff, and Shino was there. I don't, I don't, I never saw him playing pranks on anyone, but that's just me. Okay, he says he's pulled pranks. I've never seen him pull any pranks, but whatever. Like just the thought of seeing Shino of everyone to pull a prank on someone is kind of hilarious. Like I wouldn't mind watching that. Okay, now I wouldn't want to watch a whole episode dedicated to that because that sounds a bit fillerish. Okay, but just to see like Shino pull a prank on someone, that'd probably be funny if they did it right. That's just me. I just found that weird and funny. I also want to point out the fact that it looks like Tamari moved to the Leaf Village, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see it coming, which I probably should have, I guess. I don't know, I just didn't really, I don't know, I just never really thought about uh, whether or not, because they are from different villages. Like, Tamari's from the sand, Shikamaru's obviously from the leaf. So, I don't know, I just never really thought about it. The fact that, I guess, one of them will have to move to the other village, I guess. But, yeah, apparently Tamari moved to the Hidden Leaf to live with, Shikamaru. I'm not exactly sure when she moved. I'm guessing this was somewhere after they got married and had a kid. Maybe that's when she moved to the Leaf. I don't know, but she's there, and I'm guessing, yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they live there. Okay, she moved to the Leaf, which is pretty cool, I guess. So what would she be considered now? Would Tamari be considered still a sand ninja or a leaf ninja? Or both? Now, I would assume she'd be considered a leaf ninja now because she's living in the leaf village. But I don't know. Or maybe all ninjas are still considered like the Ninja Alliance. Or maybe that was just for the war. Maybe they went back to having separate things. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna assume she's considered a leaf ninja now, just because she's living in the leaf village. But so all right. So let's get into the hypocrisy and irony of Shikadai. Okay, now when I was watching this, I actually didn't catch this the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, like I always watch the episode first just to enjoy it. Then, like I noticed a couple things the first time I watched it, but it's not until the second time I watch it where I'm really paying attention to things that like I notice these things. Now, first of all, let me start off with a quote by Shikadai. This is what Shikadai says. I think this is when he's talking to Medley right after they get done fixing or kind of fixing Naruto's face as because they always have like the Hokage faces and stuff. In the first episode, Boruto breaks Naruto's face, not entirely, but he kind of like crashes the train like into the side of Naruto's face. So they were fixing it this episode, but Medley eventually like he because they get borderline finished. Just that it was Medley's, like he was the only one not finished yet. And when when everyone realized it was just Medley that had to get his stuff finished, and Medley realized everybody was watching him, he got nervous, freaked out, and ended up breaking the face again. That's basically. So after that, I guess they spent a bit longer trying to fix it, but obviously they wasn't able to completely fix it again. So they just left, and basically Shikadai just starts scolding Metal Lee, which I'm not gonna say he didn't need it, but it's still pretty a little harsh. And he realizes this later on. But this is what he says to Metal Lee, and this is why it's hypocritical and ironic. Shikadai says, "Anyway, even with stuff like that, you're too honest to a fault." Now this is ironic and hypocritical because this sentence basically describes Shikadai. Like, in fact, him saying it proves that. Like, he's way too honest, way too blunt, way too straightforward when he's talking to people. Which is ironic that he says to Metal Lee that you're way too honest. Like, you're too honest to a fault. Because the same goes for Shikamaru. He's so honest that can also be considered a fault. Because he almost messed up his friendship with Metal Lee because of it. Or if you can even call what they had a friendship at that point. I guess you can't really say they were really friends. They kind of just knew each other, but they wasn't really friends. But still, whatever bit of relationship they had, he almost messed it up because of how honest he is and how blunt he is. Which is why it's so ironic that he would say that to Rock Lee, because it described himself perfectly. And hypocritical. And Shikadai doesn't really realize this until Shikamaru and Tamari ends up talking to him about it. Well, I don't really have the quote, but Shikamaru says something to Shikadai, and which basically just like he starts remembering what he said to Metal Lee, and it's like, oh yeah, I did mess up there. I realized what I did. Yeah, that was messed up. All right, it's my fault. And even at the end of that scene, he's like, yeah, okay. Maybe I should apologize to Metal Lee tomorrow because what I said was pretty harsh. And he realizes that. By the way, Tamari she's a strong mother. She's a very strong mother and and husband. Okay, I'm not gonna edit that out. I'm gonna keep that. Okay. Okay. Starting over. She's a very strong mother and wife. Okay, Jesus Christ. Which that's to be expected because Tamari was always a strong female character. She was always scolding Shikamaru, so it only makes sense that she'd be scolding him now and Shikadai. But I don't know. It's cool to see everyone growing up. The next generation. It's cool to see Tamari. How she's interacting with Shikamaru as his wife and interacting with Shikadai, her son. It's just cool to see them as a family. Okay, now let's get started on Shikadai's character foundation, because that was also placed in this episode, shown in this episode. So here's what Shikamaru says to Shikadai when Shikamaru and Tamari was talking to him, are basically scolding him. He says this, and this is verbatim. This is exactly what Shikamaru says. So, I guess my son is just like the others. He'll get scolded and lectured and mature. Now, this is basically saying, if you haven't got it already, where it basically says it in a sentence, that Shikadai is going to have to continuously make mistakes and learn from those mistakes, whether it be him realizing them himself or it be someone like Shikadai identifying those mistakes for him. That way he can learn from those mistakes and become smarter and wiser, just like Shikamaru. That's why he says that. And so now we have the foundation for Shikamaru's character, and how we know how he's gonna get his character development from here on out. That's it. So he's gonna be making mistakes, and he's gonna learn from those mistakes and become smarter and wiser. So before I get off the whole Shikadai thing, I wanna say one last quote from Shikadai that was hypocritical, which he realizes this, which I'll mention also. He says, "Damn it, Dad, learn to read the situation." And the reason why this is hypocritical is because he says this to his father, but yet he didn't read the situation when they was walking home and he was talking to Meadow Lee. He should have been able to read the situation and be like, okay, Meadow Lee probably feels terrible about what he's done. He probably feels terrible about the fact that he gets nervous and messes up all the time. When people pay attention to him, he gets nervous, therefore causes him to mess up and fail. So maybe I should try and cheer him up instead of scolding him. But no, instead he scolds him and he wasn't able to read the situation, which is why it's just hypocritical of him to say that, damn it, Dad, you should read the situation, where he should have also been able to read the situation with Meadow Lee, but he didn't. Sorry. But oh yeah, he realizes this also, because he has a flashback of what he said to Meadow Lee, and he's like, yeah, I was probably too harsh. And this is like right after he says this too. Like right after he says, damn it, Dad, learn to read the situation, he has this flashback of what he said to Meadow Lee, and it's like, yeah, okay, what I said was too harsh, implying that he understands that what he says is hypocritical, and that he should apologize because it's the right thing to do. So now with that out the way, I'm done with the whole Shikadai thing. I'm gonna be getting to Boruto's eye ability now. That was shown in this episode and the last episode. Okay, I'm gonna talk about Boruto's new eye, I guess, ability. Just very briefly, for the simple fact that we literally just don't have enough information about it to really talk about it for a long period of time. Like, we don't know much about it. So as of right, at least I don't know much about it. I don't know. There might be information from the manga, which I'm somewhat caught up. I think I might be a chapter or two behind, which I need to get on that. But as of right now, I don't think we really know much about it. Even in the manga, I still don't think they really explain what that eye is. Like, some people speculate that's the Tenseigan. Some people speculate it's just a variation of the Byakugan, or a stronger version. We don't really know. There's theories, but nothing's really been confirmed. Okay, but here's at least what I know. Here's what I know about this eye thing that Boruto has going on. And the anime only. Like I said, they might have revealed some more information in the manga. I'm not entirely sure I'm caught up with the manga. I may be a chapter or two behind. But in the anime, this is what I know so far. Here's the facts, okay? Here's the facts about the eye. Boruto's eye seems to only activate when a particular type of chakra is present. Now, that chakra is the purple chakra that keeps possessing people like Denkai and Metal Lee. And that's facts because that's what's been shown. We haven't seen Boruto's eye activate in any other situation besides when that chakra is present. And it also seems like Boruto isn't even aware of the fact that he really has it until this episode, where he doesn't really know what it is, but he knows that he can see things other people can't. Because when they're fighting Metal Lee, Boruto's like, yo, do you guys see that? What is that? And Shikadai and Nojin says, what are you talking about? See what? And Boruto, he looks at him like, wait, they can't see it. So he knows that he can see something that they can't, but he's not really sure what it is. He asks, at the end of the episode, he asks Hinata, like, about the Byakugan. So he might think it's that maybe, but he really doesn't know. Like he doesn't know at that point in time. None of us really knows. And by the way, in case you don't know, at least as of right now in the anime, this is taking place before the Boruto movie. So everything that's happened, like in the Boruto movie, it hasn't happened yet in the anime. So this is all like leading, I guess, leading up to the Boruto movie. I'm hoping that they'll end up just doing a time skip, cause I don't want to go through what they did with Dragon Ball Super, and it was another anime. I forget what it was. Um, I don't know. But in Dragon Ball Super, they ended up going over the two movies, and they basically just broke down the two movies into two arcs in the anime. They went over everything as just in arc form. They had the Battle of Gods arc, and then the Resurrection of F arc, which annoyed the crap out of me. I don't know why they didn't just do a time skip, but whatever. But which is why I hope they don't end up doing that with the Boruto movie. I really don't want to see them just do the Boruto movie over again, which I know they did that in the manga. Oh, that's what it was. It was Dragon Ball Super and the Boruto manga that did it. That reiterated the movies and the actual shows, which made me mad because it was like there's little differences, but for the most part, it's the same shit basically. Nothing really different. Yeah, I'm hoping they don't do that with the anime. I know they did that with but here's the thing: the anime and the Boruto manga seems to be different. Kind of like how Dragon Ball Super is in the Dragon Ball Super manga and anime seems to be different than each other in certain aspects. The Boruto anime seems to be doing that with the manga because none of this was shown in the beginning of the Boruto manga. Like I think, as a matter of fact, I think they automatically jumped in to the Boruto movie with the manga, so they completely skipped all of this. So I'm hoping they'll end up skipping the movie part. But anyway, yeah. So I guess the reason why we didn't, this could be a reason why we didn't see Boruto activate that eye in the movie, because that chakra wasn't present anywhere in the movie or around at that point in time. I don't know. Or maybe it could be because they ended up finding what was causing the chakra, or the person who was casting or something, and they defeated that person. So I don't know, but as of right now, we know the eye doesn't activate unless that chakra is present, which could be an explanation as to why we didn't see it in the movie. It's because that chakra wasn't around. Here's also one thing we know for a fact about this eye ability Boruto seems to have. Unlike the other eye Kekai Genkais, like the Byakugan, the Sharingan, the Rinnegan, the blood something eye thing, which isn't really filler. Basically, if you guys seen the Sasuke novels, animated, in the anime, they basically introduced this one clan. I forget what it was called, the Kawaiki clan or whatever. Basically they have these eyes. I forget what they're called, but they're just another eye Kekai Genkai. But something that all those Aikeke Genkais have in common is the fact that in order to be activated, it requires a traumatic experience to occur. But that doesn't seem to be the case with Boruto, because we haven't seen Boruto go through any traumatic experience, at least not yet. Like, if this was after the movie, then yes, because we saw Boruto basically damn near witness Naruto being killed. At least Boruto thought he was dead at that point. He at least thought he was badly injured, which I guess you could say that's a traumatic experience. But at this point in time, that didn't happen. So Boruto hasn't really gone through anything traumatizing, or anything like that just yet. So this eye seems to be able to activate without the need of a traumatic experience happening, which is a unique feature that the other eye Kikai Genkais doesn't seem to have. Which is, I guess, is further evidence that whatever eye technique this is not the Sharingan. It's not a variation. It's not a variation of the Sharingan, Byakugan, Rinnegan, or even the Tenseigan. Well, the Tenseigan is a bit more complicated because it's a whole bloodline thing. I think it's been a minute since I seen the last. But I think it was a bloodline thing, which is why I forgot the dude's name, but which is why he needed the eyes of Hinata's cousin. Our sister? Are they cousins or sisters? Whatever. But he needed the eyes of her, someone who was related to Hinata, in order to use the Tenseigan. It was something like that. But basically, the Tenseigan is a bit different. Okay. Which in that case, I guess you could say maybe Boruto's eyes connect to the Tenseigan. But at this point in time, we really just don't have enough information to say whether or not it is or isn't at this point. So, like, for a fact, all we can do is speculate. But as of right now, the things that I've named, those are facts. He can the eye only activates when a particular chakra is present, and it doesn't seem to require any traumatic experiences or anything. It's just activates when a particular chakra is around. So those are two things those are just fact about this eye technique of Boruto. Now, Shigadai definitely takes after his father Shikamaru, because we see him formulate a plan that involves not Naruto, but Boruto and Inojin. So basically, the plan was Boruto used his clones to distract Metal Lee, because Metal Lee was going on this rampage trying to attack Shikamaru and the others. So I'm not Shikamaru, but Shikadai, and Shikadai formulated a plan with Boruto and Inojin. By the way, if you don't know, Inojin is Ino and Sai's son. So the plan involved Boruto making clones and distracting Metal Lee, and also the real Boruto using a transformation jutsu to look like Shikadai and act as if he was using the shadow paralysis jutsu. I think that's what it's called. Basically the jutsu that Shikamaru uses all the time. I used to use all the time. He now uses variations of it, but he basically used the transformation jutsu, turned into Shikadai, and acted as if he was using that technique. Now I'm probably thinking, well, how could he use that technique? Like, does Boruto have that now? No. So basically, what they did was, Inojin used his art style to make some ink snakes and made them crawl on the ground, to make it look like shadows, but in reality, it was just snakes, ink snakes. Which he used that, and it made Metal Lee think that it was the real deal, which made Metal Lee dodge it and made him continuously back up, and which it was a smart thing that Shikadai did. He made Inojin stop the snakes from following Metal Lee at some point in time, to make it look like the real deal, to make it look like there was a limit to how far the shadow could reach, just like the real shadow paralysis jutsu, which just made it more believable. But it just, in reality, we all know it was just the snakes. But the reason why it was chasing him and pushing him back so much was because it was making him fall in range of the real shadow paralysis jutsu, which is where the real Shikadai was hiding in the bush right behind Metal Lee, and he used the actual shadow paralysis to trap him. Which it was a really good plan. Metal kind of breaks out from the shadow paralysis though, because like I said earlier in the beginning of the review, this chakra seemed to be empowering him, and it looked like it was about to let Metal use one of the gates actually, which is how he was able to kind of break free. Um, but Hugh breaks free. A little comedic scene happens when he bumps his head and falls on the ground, and we see the chakra leave him. So yeah, it was a pretty good plan set up by Shikadai, um, showing that he really does take after Shikamaru, uh, coming up with plans and stuff like that, which is cool to see. Cool to see the new generation in action. But here's one thing that I am concerned about. I do want all the new gen characters kind of have their own unique thing about them. Kind of like how Metal has this nervousness about him that separates him from Rock Lee. Kind of makes it to where he's not a Rock Lee copy. I want the rest of the new gen cast to have the same thing about them. Something that separates them from their parents and just makes them unique and not copies of themselves. A very like Boruto. Like right now, the only thing that separates Boruto from Kid Naruto is just their beliefs. Like Boruto doesn't want to become Hokage. He just wants to be stronger than his dad, which is the only thing that separates him from how Naruto was when he was a kid. When Naruto was a kid, we all know he wanted to become Hokage. So we got this difference in ideals, but the personalities are basically the same. So hopefully they'll put more effort into making Boruto more unique and different from Naruto. So basically, at the end of the episode, by the way, I'm about to cut this short because I can only record up to an hour. And wait, yeah, an hour, and it's about to be an hour. So I don't know what's gonna come out to be when I'm done editing, but it's almost an hour now. But at the end of the episode, Metal finds Boruto, Shikadai, and Inojin on a roof, slacking, playing video games and stuff. And which was funny to me. This was funny to me. Metal basically he said he's gonna snitch on him. Well, he doesn't say that, but that's basically what he was gonna do. He's gonna snitch on him, and he was like, I'm gonna tell the teacher on you guys for slacking off. And then Boruto and Boruto and Shikadai persuades Metal to play the game with them, because the way they ended up persuading him to do it was they say it enhances teamwork, and it also can help him cure this nervousness of his. So Boruto picks up the controller, they start playing, and then I guess Boruto and the others start paying attention to him and start relying on him, which makes Metal nervous, and he ends up just breaking the controller, which is funny to me. And Boruto starts freaking out. But that's basically the end of the episode right there. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode. You could say that the controller kind of represents or kind of symbolizes friendship, because he gives the controller to Metal, which symbolizes their friendship. Also, they did the same thing with Iwaki, I think it was his name. The guy who was fighting Boruto in the second episode, he was also seen to be playing the game with them in this episode. It's kind of symbolized that he's part of the group now, that he's now friends with the Boruto and the rest of them. So yeah, the game kind of represents the friendship with them. So yeah, that's the end of the episode right there. The next episode, I watched the preview for it. It shows, it looks like it's gonna be about Boruto and Sarada fighting over some food. I think it was some type of bun, a meat bun or something like that. I don't know what it was. But they're fighting over food, which I'm looking forward to next episode, because I think Sarada is gonna end up being my favorite character, because she seems to be the most unique out of all of them. At least in the movie she did. She kind of seems a bit the same, but also a bit different in the anime. But in the movie and in the the Naruto Gaiden chapters, she seemed very unique and different from Sasuke and Sakura, but she also shared qualities of the two, but also unique in her own way, and her on her own personality, which really distinguished herself from uh, Sasuke and Sakura. And I'm really looking forward to see how she is in the anime. I hope she's still the same, but I know that they changed a lot about her personality in the manga. I hope they don't do that in the anime, but we just have to wait and see. But yeah, basically next episode look like it's going to be a pretty enjoyable episode. Can't wait to see Sarada. I can't wait to see the fight because it looks like they're going to be having a ninjutsu battle between each other, which should be pretty interesting. I really want to see Sarada use the Chidori and the Sharingan, which it might be a little bit too early for her to use those things. We might have to wait till either after the time skip of the movie, or I don't know if they're going to do a time skip after, like right after the movie, or if they're just going to go straight into the manga where they're all grown up, and we're not grown up, but they're all teenagers, and the village is destroyed and all that. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the battle between Sarada and Boruto. It should be a good battle because they're both pretty strong. But yeah, that's it for this review. This was the review for Boruto Next Generation Episode 3, entitled Mentally Gone Crazy and Wild, I meant. And that's it. I rate this was a good episode to me. I really liked it. I really like how they're setting the foundation for Shikadai's and Metal Lee's character. I really like how they implemented this nervousness aspect of Metal Lee, which I wasn't expecting at all, just for the fact that Metal Lee seems to be, I think he's the kid of Rock Lee and Tenten, which is why I didn't expect him to be nervous at all. But then again, it could be a situation like with the regular Naruto, how we all thought Rock Lee was the son of Guy, and that turned out to not be the case. It could be the same thing where we're just assuming that Metal Lee is Rock Lee's son just because they look alike. It could be just that Metal Lee is very inspired by Rock Lee and he wants to be just like him or something like that. Could be that. It could be he's not even Rock Lee's son. But yeah, I really like how they're handling Metal Lee's character. Hopefully it continues to be this good. But that's it. I'm out. Like I said, it was a good episode. Check the description for my gaming channel, my Twitch, and also go ahead and go over to my friend Tyree's channel. It's called Tyree Reviews, and go ahead to subscribe to Tyree Films. I'll leave both of his channels in the description down below. Go subscribe to him. He makes good videos. I'll link his Silver Cavalier channel in the description down below. Although he says he's not going to really be uploading to that channel as often anymore. But you can still go over there, check it out. It's basically his gaming channel. He has some skits on there too. He has a lot of videos on there. So go ahead, check him out, like him, subscribe to it, and that's it. If you like what you see, keep watching. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you want to. Like the video if you liked it. There's more to come soon. I said review. Erase review coming soon. Okay? I know I've been saying it, but it's coming soon. And that's it. I'm out. Peace.